is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 24, verse 3 to 8. When Moses came to the people and related all the words and ordinances of the Lord, they all answered with one voice, "We will do everything that the Lord has told us." Moses then wrote down all the words of the Lord, and rising early the next day, he erected at the foot of the mountain an altar, and 12 pillars of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then, having sent certain young men of the children of Israel to offer burnt offerings and sacrifice young bulls as peace offerings to the Lord, Moses took half of the blood and put it in large bowls. The other half he splashed on the altar. Taking the book of the covenant, he read it aloud to the people, who answered, "All that the Lord has said, we will heed and do." Then he took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, saying, "This is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you, in accordance with all these words of his." The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Matthew. Jesus proposed a parable to the crowds. The kingdom of heaven may be likened to a man who sowed good seed in his field. While everyone was asleep, his enemy came and sowed weeds all through the wheat and then went off. When the crop grew and bore fruit, the weeds appeared as well. The slaves of the household came to him and said, "Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where have the weeds come from?" He answered, "An enemy has done this." His slaves said to him, "Do you want us to go and pull them up?" He replied, "No. If you pull up the weeds, you might uproot the wheat along with them. Let them grow together until harvest. Then at harvest time, I will say to the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles for burning, but gather the wheat into my barn." The Gospel of the Lord.
The Lord has given us enough chances, one after another. He is ever patient with us, and He gives us His time to realize how sinful we are and how we are in need of His mercy, healing, and forgiveness. In the Gospel passage today, we listen to a different but a related story of a parable. It is about a sower who sowed good seeds in a field, and in the middle of the night an enemy came and spread weeds among the wheat. Then weeds and wheat got intermingled with each other. Then it became a difficult thing to separate them, as their roots had grown around each other. Then killing one plant would have killed the other in this scenario. Dear friends, the sower, who is also the master of this field, told his servants not to pull out any weed. Let them grow together, and when it is a time of the harvest, wheat must be gathered in the barn of the owner, and the weeds must be separated and cast into fire. Friends, this parable has a symbolic and a deeper meaning for all of us. Friends, first of all, the sower represents the Lord, and the enemy represents the devil. The Lord spreads to all of us the good seeds such as faith, hope, trust, and Christian virtues. then the enemy, the devil, Satan, spreads out the seeds of evil such as hatred, wickedness, pride, greed, and arrogance. Humanity, which is filled with God's grace and love, is tainted by corruption of sin and wickedness. But the Lord does not want us to be destroyed right away, but He gives us His time to transform our lives. Friends, when we look at the history of the church, down the ages there are many saints who have led an imperfect life at the beginning, but who have transformed their lives, such as St. Peter, St. Paul, and St. Augustine of Hippo. Friends, the choice has been given to us by virtue of the free will that God has given us. The choice is ours. What do you want to be? Wheat or the weeds? Dear friends, the choice is ours, and our actions will determine that. As Christians, our faith calls all of us to be like wheat, to be filled with God's grace and love, and strive to become faithful and dedicated. So from now on, let us work hard and be fruitful in our lives, so that we will dedicate our lives with all our hearts and with all our souls. May God bless you all.